Hey, it's Amy, the Skin and Lash Lady, and thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. So many, well, actually, we're in my bathroom. So many people have been asking me so many questions, and one of the things people are asking is, can I come in for a service with you? I live in your area. Sadly, I closed my business. So I'm going to tell you of why I hopped onto social media and why I haven't done it earlier, and a little bit about me. So one of the things is I believe in a very minimalistic approach to skincare. It needs to be simple, and I also believe that everybody can have proper skincare and anti-aging and not make it complicated. I think every woman deserves it, and I try to pick things that are budget friendly, and I even ran that in my business. I had a high-end product, a middle of the line, or I would recommend things outside that I've tested, or people would show me. I don't, like I said, it's not that complicated. As we get older, we need targeted massage, we need the right product, and we just have to be consistent, and we have to have a realistic expectation. I am never going to have the face I had when I was 30 years old. That's just the way it is, and I am okay with that. But let me tell you of why you're finding me now on social media. I've been a licensed esthetician for 15 years. I've been a licensed permanent makeup artist for 7. I've been a lash extension. I was a trainer as well for as long as I've been an esthetician. In January of 2020, January 20th to be exact, I had to go in for surgery. I had a massive 15-pound tumor in me. It was a fibroid, plus some others. I had been sick for the past year with not knowing what was going on. So I waited until January simply because I wanted to make sure that I was starting a new insurance. It was the start of the year. It was a slow time of year. My husband is a cancer patient. I needed him to finish his chemo, his immunology treatment for that. So we had a lot of things, and I needed to strategically budget out my money. The doctor had said I'd be out for 6 to 8 weeks. At the time prior to my surgery, the possibility of me having, it's my dog, ovarian or any of the cancers we weren't sure. So I said, okay. Went in for my surgery on January 20th, 2020. Everything was clean, thank goodness. It was okay. My biggest concern was my husband and I both having cancer in our 50s would be horrible. Everything was good. I was really excited to get back to work, and I went back to work a little early, and he said, as long as you feel good, you can go back, just limit your movement, no lifting heavy, all those kind of things. All my clients were so helpful. Everybody who told me that this was my second surgery my whole life. I only had a tonsillectomy. I'm never sick except for my allergies. So for me, this was like, oh my goodness, this is like a huge, big deal. So, typical wife, I was more concerned for my husband than I was for me, like who's going to take care of the dog. Everything came out okay. I came back to work early. I was really exhausted. I did 1 or 2 clients a day, but during that time, during my healing, I was online taking classes and studying and revamping my menu, and I'm going to come back with newer techniques for massage. Like I was just ready to rock and roll. I come back, I am exhausted. 2 weeks after I come back, we have to close for COVID. I said, you know what? The county said 2 weeks. 2 weeks is good. You know what? I can use 2 more weeks. I can, re-energize. I really needed that, really full recovery. I was cut from, straight down the center. It was a lot. COVID hits. 2 weeks become 2 months. In that time, I'm figuring out protocols. For those of you who don't know, to be a licensed esthetician in almost every state, as well as a tattoo artist, we have to pass inspection for sanitation, sterilization, and disinfection. That's what our licenses are based on. It's all about not to transmit bloodborne pathogen diseases like HIV and hepatitis. But COVID's different, it's airborne. So I actually made a conference call with my doctor, with one of my doctors, of how to keep safe. And he said the biggest problem that he was having, my ENT, was that there was no proper PPE around. I had a limited supply from my tattoo business. So, okay, I'm figuring it out. I decide I'm gonna start with my lashes, come back everything. I come back to work. It's a little awkward. I strip down the bed. I have disposable linens. It's expensive to gear up with PPE to keep you safe. Now at home, we're used to this. I'm always cleaning my hands with Hebe Cleanse, which is a medical grade cleanser, because my husband's on immunology. We're used to being separated a lot of times, or certain protocols, because I have to keep him away from germs, and his treatment is bad for me. There's like a whole protocol. But we've been living with this cancer thing for 4 years, so we're pretty good. I take off my scrubs before I come home. Like we have a protocol to keep him safe. Now I got to keep everything safe. I go back to work, call my clients, I come back and everything, and this is what's happening. My clients that commuted to where my business was is like, Amy, I'm working from home now. I don't have the luxury of time to go commute across town on a lunch hour because I got to be back for a Zoom meeting. Okay. Another thing, my clients who were like, the kids were in school and would sneak away to come for a nice facial, like, my kids are home, there's no school. So I can't leave. Okay. I have older clients that some of them live in independent living. I have a few live in assisted living because their spouses need assisted living. They're on lockdown. I love my clients that are in assisted living. I have a lot of clients who are in hospitality. Here in Fort Lauderdale, we are a destination location for weddings, vacations, events. There's no cruise industry. My hostesses at the restaurants and hotels are now unemployed. My restaurant girls are unemployed. My bridal people, there is no business around. This is rough. So all my different buckets are pretty much dried up. I have a handful of clients who want to come in. They're still going to work. Some people, it doesn't bother them for whatever it is. But my husband also had a man in his office who was diagnosed on March 15th with COVID, who died 3 weeks later. So it was getting, we were like really concerned. And I was really concerned about my safety just coming out of surgery, and also my husband. When you're self-employed also, there's no unemployment insurance. I could not get any of the federal programs from the SBA. I was too small of a business, and the few people that got it, it was impossible. There was only so much money and no more. And the federal $600 here in Florida, let me tell you, I applied 4 times, and 4 times they said, you have no income. Well, no, I'm showing you my 2019 Schedule C. I actually even called the state legislature, and they had a legal aid help me, and they was saying, you know what, this is wrong. So I was like, you know what, I just got to keep moving forward. I did have a client that called me to say that there was an active COVID in her office. They were closing her office. She had been to visit me. She went for a test. She was negative. I so appreciate the phone call. People were really concerned about my safety. Every client of mine saying, Amy, we know you're safe, but you know what? It's like I said, either I'm working from home, my kids are home, I became unemployed, I don't want to leave, let me wait it out. No problem. Believe me, no problem. I'm 6 inches from your face. All my clients had to be masked. When we do a facial, they can't be masked. And it's, when you have somebody that's talking to you, you're there, you're concerned. You're just concerned. I opened up all my windows after every client. I disinfected. I had to space everybody, but I didn't have the amount of clients who were coming back. So just so you know, for me to run my business, and most estheticians, it's between $25,000 and $30,000. And people go, how could that be? Well, my shop was in a high rent area, so I have rent to pay. Rent is $15,000 a year. Supplies, insurance, internet, tax, you name it. So I have to shell out between $25,000 and $30,000 a year before I even pay myself. Okay? I'm insured, like all of these things cost money. Thank goodness, like a lot of the insurance companies had paused my insurance and they weren't restarting it until the phase went back in. So a lot of my clients were insisting on permanent makeup. I'm like, no, my insurance is not covering me right now. I mean, the whole thing. I would take everybody's temperature, even though that is not an indicator. And some of my customers come in, they're 101, like I just came from the gym, or I'm having a hot flash. And some of my clients were coughing. Now, I have asthma. I kind of know my clients who are the ones with allergies and asthma. But I did have a client who and I always had a lot of clients come in with dirty masks. I would always give them a nice clean mask. And tell them, please dispose of that. Here's another one. Make everybody wash their hands. I mean, you get it. You get it. But now it's a matter of my safety and dollars and cents. My rent just went up in May. My landlord did not give me a break. So I'm sitting here going, when is this going to end? And this is what happened. A client had come in coughing and kept saying, I have asthma, I have this, with a temperature, saying, it's just menopause. And I was really hesitant, and it was for lashes. And, when you're laying down and the mask is on you and the person's breathing, the breath sometimes come this way. So I'm shielded, I'm masked, but I'm feeling really uncomfortable. And I'm trying to say to her, I think it's better we wait. And they're like, no, you've always done my lashes. COVID positive. And didn't call me. I had to find out about it on social media. I went home to my husband and I said, this is scaring me. I don't know if I can continue to work and put my health at risk to just pay the rent. I said, I think it's time that I close. And 3 years ago, I was joking, saying, I'm going to retire in 3 years. And he goes, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'll figure it out. I closed my business. My business license was ending September 30th. I said, okay, fine, September 30th. I'm not renewing my business license. I sell everything, so I have a chunk of some money to live on. And I said, you know what? I have all this knowledge, all this information. I'm going to keep true to my brand of giving people and educating them on what they can do. Am I the esthetician for everybody? No. Do I have the answer to everything? No, I don't. But even if I help somebody, that's great. The best feeling for me is when my clients will call and say, that facial I came in for yesterday? I'm like, Well, I just went to work and somebody asked me what foundation I'm wearing. And I told them, I'm not wearing any. And I gave them your card. That to me is worth more than the paycheck. So I think I have to close this out because I only get a limited time on YouTube. So please subscribe, please ask questions, please stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and on to making the next video. And don't forget, wash your face.